What if the reason you are tired, bloated, and struggling with your blood sugar has nothing to do with willpower and everything to do with what you are not doing in the first 30 minutes of your morning? Doctors won't tell you this. Big Pharma definitely doesn't want you to know it. But ancient cultures, from the Ayurvedic healers of India to the mountain tribes of Japan, have been using 3 simple morning rituals for thousands of years to keep their blood sugar stable, their energy sky-high, and their waistlines in check. Today, I am going to share all 3 with you, for free, right now. Let me ask you something personal. Do you wake up tired, even after a full night of sleep? Do you carry weight around your belly that just won't budge no matter what you try? Do you get hit with a wave of fatigue after lunch, like your body just shuts down? Do you crave sugar and carbs even when you are not really hungry? If you nodded yes to even one of those questions, what I am about to share with you in the next 30 minutes could genuinely change the trajectory of your health. Because all of those symptoms, the fatigue, the belly fat, the cravings, the brain fog, they don't come from laziness. They don't come from bad genes. And they are not inevitable. They come from one root cause that most doctors never address directly: insulin resistance. And today, I am going to show you how 3 ancient morning nutrition rituals used by cultures that had 0 diabetes can begin reversing it. Starting tomorrow morning, stay with me all the way to the end because the 3rd ritual is the most powerful one, and most people never hear about it. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. This channel is dedicated to one thing: giving you the real science behind natural health, metabolic wellness, and the ancient wisdom that modern medicine left behind. Every single week, we break down complex health topics into simple, actionable steps that you can start today. And right now, before we dive in, I want to ask you one small favor. If you find value in this kind of content, real, research-backed, no-fluff health education, please take 2 seconds and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone in your life who might need to hear this today. It costs you nothing, but it helps us reach more people who are silently struggling with their blood sugar, their energy, and their weight, and have no idea why. Like, subscribe, share, right now. Let's do it together. Okay, let's get into it. And I promise, this is going to be worth every minute of your time. Before we talk about the rituals, you need to understand what we are actually fighting. Because when you really understand insulin resistance, what it is, how it develops, and what it is doing to your body right now, everything else clicks into place. So let's start at the beginning. Your body runs on glucose. Every cell, your brain, your muscles, your organs, needs glucose to function. When you eat carbohydrates, your digestive system breaks them down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream. Your bloodstream is not a storage tank. It is a delivery system. Glucose in your blood needs to get into your cells, and fast. Otherwise, it becomes toxic. That is where insulin comes in. Insulin is a hormone produced by your pancreas. Its job is simple. It acts like a key. It travels to your cells, unlocks the door, and escorts glucose inside. Cells get their fuel. Blood sugar drops. Everything stays balanced. This is how a healthy metabolism works. Now here is where it all goes wrong. Every time you eat, especially carbohydrates and sugar, your pancreas pumps out insulin. That is normal. That is its job. But in the modern world, we eat constantly. We snack between meals. We drink sugary beverages. We eat ultra-processed food loaded with hidden sugars. We wake up and immediately spike our cortisol with caffeine on an empty stomach. What happens? Your cells are flooded with insulin over and over and over again, thousands of times a year. And your cells do what any of us would do when someone keeps knocking on the door at all hours of the night. They stop answering. Your cells become resistant to insulin. They downregulate their receptors. The key stops fitting the lock. Glucose can't get in. So what does your pancreas do? It panics. It pumps out more insulin, more and more, trying to force the door open. Now you have high blood sugar and high insulin at the same time. This combination is devastating. High insulin tells your body to store fat, especially visceral fat, around your organs and belly. It triggers chronic inflammation. It disrupts your hormones. It raises your blood pressure. It clouds your brain. It exhausts your adrenal glands. And over time, if nothing changes, it destroys your pancreas, and you develop type 2 diabetes. Here is the terrifying part. The Centers for Disease Control estimates that 96 million American adults, that is 1 in 3 people, currently have prediabetes, and 80% of them have absolutely no idea, because insulin resistance is silent. It masquerades as normal aging. It shows up as, "I am just tired." It hides behind, "I need to eat better, I know." But it is not just about food choices. It is about timing, combinations, and the specific morning window that determines how your entire metabolism functions for the rest of the day. And that is exactly what these 3 ancient rituals target. Are you ready? Let's talk about them. Before I reveal the rituals, I need to explain why the morning window is so uniquely powerful for reversing insulin resistance. Because without understanding this, you might do these rituals at the wrong time and get half the results. Here is what is happening in your body between the moment you wake up and about 90 minutes later. Your body has just spent 7 to 9 hours fasting. During sleep, your cortisol levels begin rising around 4 a.m. in a process called the cortisol awakening response. By the time you open your eyes, cortisol is at its highest point of the entire day. Cortisol is your primary stress and alertness hormone. It plays a critical role in metabolism. And here is what most people don't know. High cortisol raises blood sugar. It does this by triggering a process called gluconeogenesis, where your liver releases glucose into your bloodstream to give you energy to face the day. This is completely natural and healthy. Your body has been doing this for millions of years. But in the modern world, we compound this natural glucose spike with all the wrong morning behaviors. We immediately drink black coffee, which spikes cortisol even higher. We eat refined carbohydrates like cereal, toast, or bagels for breakfast, which stack glucose on top of the cortisol-driven glucose. We sit still and scroll through stressful news and social media, which keeps cortisol elevated. And we skip movement, which means the glucose our body released has nowhere to go. The result? A blood sugar roller coaster that starts before 8 a.m. and doesn't stop until we go to sleep. But flip those morning behaviors. Replace them with these 3 ancient rituals, and you do something remarkable. You intercept the cortisol response. You activate your insulin receptors. You prime your muscles to absorb glucose all day long. You set your metabolism up to burn efficiently for the next 12 to 16 hours. The morning window is your greatest metabolic opportunity, and most people waste it every single day. Not anymore. The first ritual comes from one of the oldest medical systems in human history, Ayurveda, the traditional medicine of ancient India, which dates back over 3,000 years. Ayurvedic practitioners prescribed a morning practice called Ushapan, which translates roughly to dawn drinking. Every morning, before food, before conversation, before activity, patients were required to drink a specific infusion of warm water and medicinal spices. The purpose, in ancient terms, was to kindle the digestive fire, to awaken the body's internal systems and prepare them to process nourishment correctly. In modern scientific terms, we now know exactly why this works, and the research is remarkable. Here is the ritual. Every morning, within 5 minutes of waking, prepare and drink this. 12 to 16 ounces of warm water, not boiling, think warm tea temperature, around 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. This is critical. Not cassia cinnamon, which is the cheap common variety found in most grocery stores. Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon, contains a bioactive compound called cinnamaldehyde that cassia cinnamon barely has. Here is what cinnamaldehyde does. It directly activates GLUT4 glucose transporters in your muscle and fat cells. GLUT4 is the protein channel that allows glucose to enter your cells. Insulin is supposed to trigger GLUT4 activation, but when you are insulin resistant, that signal breaks down. Cinnamaldehyde can activate GLUT4 independently of insulin. It essentially bypasses the broken lock and opens the door directly. A 2012 study published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics found that Ceylon cinnamon significantly improved insulin sensitivity and reduced fasting blood glucose in participants with type 2 diabetes. Other studies have shown reductions in fasting blood sugar of up to 29% in pre-diabetic patients over 8 weeks of consistent use. Next ingredient, a quarter teaspoon of fenugreek powder. Fenugreek seeds have been used in Indian, Middle Eastern, and North African cooking and medicine for millennia. They contain a unique soluble fiber called galactomannan that slows the absorption of glucose in your small intestine, meaning even if you eat carbohydrates later, the glucose spike is significantly blunted. Multiple randomized controlled trials have confirmed fenugreek's ability to reduce fasting blood glucose, improve insulin sensitivity, and lower HbA1c, the long-term marker of blood sugar control. And finally, the juice of half a fresh lemon. Lemon juice contains citric acid and vitamin C, both of which play specific roles in glucose metabolism. Citric acid slows gastric emptying, meaning food moves through your stomach more slowly, leading to a gentler, more gradual glucose release into your bloodstream. Vitamin C competes with glucose for cellular uptake, which helps reduce the total glucose load your cells have to handle. Lemon juice also kickstarts bile production from your gallbladder, which prepares your digestive system to process fats and proteins efficiently. Critical for the protein-first breakfast coming up in ritual number 3. How to take it. Mix everything together in a glass or mug. The cinnamon won't dissolve completely. That is fine. Just stir and drink. Sip it slowly over 5 to 10 minutes. Don't rush it. Do not eat anything for at least 20 to 30 minutes after drinking this. Let the compounds absorb and do their work. The results compound over time. Week 1, your digestion improves and morning energy begins to stabilize. Week 2, afternoon cravings start to diminish. Week 4, fasting blood sugar begins measurably dropping if tested. Week 8, insulin sensitivity is meaningfully restored, naturally without drugs. 1 glass, every morning. 3 simple ingredients. 3,000 years of wisdom. That is ritual number 1. Before I get to ritual number 2, I have to stop for a second. If you are still watching, you are exactly the kind of person this channel exists for. You care about your health, you want real answers, and you are willing to invest 30 minutes to learn something that could genuinely add years to your life. So I am asking again, please smash that like button right now. Share this video with a friend or family member who is struggling with their energy or blood sugar, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss content like this. I read every comment, every single one. If you have already tried any of these rituals, drop your experience below, because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to take the first step. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Genuinely. Now, ritual number 2. This one surprised me when I first researched it. The second ritual seems almost embarrassingly simple when I tell you what it is. A walk, a 10-minute walk. But before you dismiss it, let me tell you why a 10-minute walk taken at a specific time of morning is one of the most metabolically powerful things you can do for insulin resistance. Because the research on this genuinely stunned me. In traditional Japanese culture, there is a concept called satoyama. The idea that human beings exist in a reciprocal relationship with the natural landscape, and that daily movement through that landscape at the start of the day is not optional. It is essential to health. Traditional Chinese medicine similarly prescribed what they called morning qi cultivation, gentle rhythmic movement in the first hour after waking to circulate energy and open the body's systems for the day. These ancient cultures were not treating disease. They were preventing it. And one of their most consistent prescriptions, across vastly different civilizations, was morning movement. Here is the science that explains why they were right. Your skeletal muscles, the large muscles in your legs, glutes, and core, are the biggest insulin-sensitive tissue in your entire body. When they are active, they can absorb glucose from your bloodstream without needing insulin. They have their own glucose uptake mechanism, called non-insulin-mediated glucose uptake, that activates during physical movement. When you walk, your leg muscles are pulling glucose directly out of your bloodstream and burning it for fuel, bypassing insulin entirely. This is extraordinary. It means that even if your insulin receptors are damaged and broken from years of resistance, your muscles can still clear glucose through a completely separate pathway. But here is where timing becomes everything. Remember what we talked about earlier, the cortisol awakening response. In the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking, your liver is releasing glucose into your bloodstream to fuel your day. Cortisol is high, glucose is rising. If you sit still during this window, that glucose has nowhere to go. It circulates, insulin gets called in, resistance deepens. But if you move during this window, even just a brisk 10-minute walk, your muscles immediately begin absorbing that cortisol-driven glucose. The spike is blunted. Insulin barely needs to respond. A landmark study published in Diabetes Care found that just 3 10-minute walks per day, one after each meal, reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes by 22% compared to a single 30-minute walk. But when participants combined morning movement with the natural cortisol window, the effect was even more pronounced. Other research from the University of Otago found that morning walking created the most lasting insulin sensitivity benefit throughout the entire day. And the benefits don't stop at blood sugar. Morning walking in natural light, sunlight on your skin and eyes within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, triggers a cascade of hormonal events that regulate your circadian rhythm. This in turn regulates cortisol patterning, melatonin production, leptin and ghrelin balance, your hunger hormones, and critically, insulin sensitivity through the day-night glucose cycle. In plain terms, morning sunlight tells every cell in your body what time it is. And cells that know what time it is function better in every measurable way. Here is the ritual. Within 20 minutes of waking, after your golden water, step outside and walk for 10 to 15 minutes at a brisk but comfortable pace. No gym required, no special equipment. Outdoors is strongly preferred. Even on a cloudy day, outdoor light is 10 to 50 times stronger than indoor lighting and more than sufficient to trigger the circadian benefits. If outdoor walking is truly impossible, a treadmill near a bright window works, but prioritize getting outside. Walk at a pace where you can still hold a conversation, but you are breathing slightly harder than normal. You are not jogging, you are not sprinting, you are activating your muscles, clearing your morning glucose spike, and signaling every cell in your body that it is time to function. What happens over time? In the first week, you will notice your morning energy improves noticeably. By week 2, you will find your midday energy dips less severely. By week 4, if you measure fasting blood sugar, you will likely see it trending down. And by week 8, combined with the other 2 rituals, your insulin sensitivity will be measurably, meaningfully different. 10 minutes, outdoors, every morning, no excuses. That is ritual number 2. For the vast majority of human history, roughly 2.5 million years, humans did not wake up and eat carbohydrates. There were no granola bars, no toast, no cereal, no orange juice. Early humans woke up and, if they ate at all in the morning, they ate protein, eggs from a bird's nest, leftover meat from the previous day's hunt, fish caught at dawn, nuts and seeds foraged along the way. Their bodies were built around a protein-first metabolic rhythm that kept their blood sugar extraordinarily stable. Mediterranean healers, the forerunners of modern Western medicine, also emphasized what they called the morning protein foundation. Hippocrates himself wrote about the importance of consuming nourishing and strengthening foods before any sweet or starchy foods in the morning meal. Even traditional Japanese culture, famous for its longevity, includes a high-protein morning meal as standard: miso soup with tofu, fish, eggs, and fermented vegetables. Not sugary pastries or rice porridge. Across cultures, across continents, across millennia, the consistent wisdom was the same. Start your day with protein, not carbohydrates. Here is why modern science backs this up so powerfully. When you eat protein first, before any carbohydrates, several critical things happen simultaneously. First, GLP-1 release. Protein consumption triggers the release of a hormone called glucagon-like peptide 1, or GLP-1. You may have heard of this recently. It is the same hormone that pharmaceutical drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy are designed to mimic artificially, but your body produces GLP-1 naturally if you give it the right stimulus. GLP-1 does three extraordinary things. It signals your pancreas to release exactly the right amount of insulin. Not too much, not too little. Precisely calibrated to your actual blood sugar level. It slows gastric emptying, meaning food moves through your digestive system more slowly, creating a gradual, gentle glucose release instead of a sharp spike. And it signals your brain's satiety centers that you are full, dramatically reducing cravings and overeating for the rest of the day. Second, muscle protein synthesis. Consuming 30 or more grams of protein in the morning triggers a process called muscle protein synthesis, where your body begins repairing and building muscle tissue. Active muscle tissue is the most metabolically expensive tissue in your body. It burns calories even at rest. And most critically for insulin resistance, healthy, active muscle tissue is highly insulin sensitive. The more functional muscle mass you have, the more glucose your body can absorb and use efficiently. Protein for breakfast literally rebuilds the tissue that fights insulin resistance. Third, amino acid-driven glucagon balance. Protein consumption also triggers the release of glucagon, insulin's counter-regulatory hormone. Glucagon prevents your blood sugar from dropping too low, which prevents the reactive hyperglycemia that causes mid-morning sugar cravings. When you eat carbohydrates first, without protein, insulin spikes high, blood sugar crashes, and by 10 a.m. you are desperately reaching for a snack. That cycle of spike and crash is one of the primary drivers of worsening insulin resistance over time. Protein breaks that cycle completely. Here is the ritual. Within 60 to 90 minutes of waking, after your golden water and morning walk, eat a breakfast that leads with at least 30 grams of complete protein. Why 30 grams? Research from Dr. Donald Lehman at the University of Illinois shows that 30 grams is the threshold required to fully activate muscle protein synthesis. Below that, and you get a partial response. At 30 grams and above, you get the full metabolic benefit. What does 30 grams of protein look like? Option 1. 3 whole eggs plus 2 egg whites scrambled with smoked salmon and avocado, 32 grams of protein. Option 2. 1 cup of full-fat Greek yogurt plus 2 boiled eggs plus a tablespoon of hemp seeds, 35 grams of protein. Option 3. A protein smoothie with 2 scoops of whey or collagen protein, almond butter, chia seeds, and unsweetened almond milk, 30 to 36 grams of protein. Option 4. Leftover salmon or chicken with 2 eggs and sautéed greens, traditional Japanese style, 35 to 40 grams of protein. What you do not eat first: toast, bagels, or English muffins. Cereal, even so-called healthy varieties. Fruit juice or smoothies without protein. Oatmeal without a significant protein source paired with it. Granola bars, breakfast bars, or pastries of any kind. These foods spike your blood sugar immediately, trigger an insulin flood, and put you on the roller coaster that you are trying to get off. If you want oatmeal, eat your 30 grams of protein first, wait 20 minutes, then have the oatmeal. The GLP-1 released from the protein will blunt the glucose impact of the oats dramatically. The 30-day transformation looks like this. Week 1, morning energy is noticeably more stable. You stop getting ravenous by 10 a.m. Week 2, afternoon energy dip starts to shrink. You realize you are not thinking about food constantly. Week 3, cravings for sugar and processed carbs drop significantly. Your body is finally getting what it needs. Week 4, if you step on the scale, it may have moved, because when insulin levels normalize, your body stops being stuck in fat storage mode. And beyond 30 days, consistently eating protein first, every morning, you are rebuilding your metabolic foundation from the ground up. That is ritual number 3. And it may be the most powerful one. Now let me show you how these 3 rituals work together, because the compounding effect is what makes this protocol so powerful. 6 a.m. You wake up. You drink your golden water protocol. Warm water with Ceylon cinnamon, fenugreek, and lemon. Your insulin receptors begin to activate. Your digestive system wakes up. Cinnamaldehyde starts unlocking your GLUT4 channels. 6:10 a.m. You step outside. You take your 10 to 15 minute cellular awakening walk. Your muscles immediately begin pulling glucose out of your bloodstream through non-insulin-mediated uptake. Morning cortisol-driven glucose is cleared. Your circadian rhythm locks in. Every cell gets the signal. It is morning. It is time to function. 7 a.m. You sit down to a protein-first breakfast of 30 or more grams. GLP-1 floods your system. Insulin is released in a controlled, calibrated amount, not a flood. Muscle protein synthesis activates. Your metabolic rate climbs. You are full, satisfied, and energized without a blood sugar spike. By 9 a.m., your blood sugar is flat and stable. Your energy is consistent and clean. Your body is burning fuel efficiently. Your insulin receptors, stimulated by cinnamon, activated by movement, calibrated by protein, are more sensitive than they were yesterday. Do this every day, for 30 days. And the version of you standing at the end of those 30 days will have measurably better fasting glucose, measurably better insulin sensitivity, more energy, fewer cravings, and in most cases, a noticeably different body composition. Not because of a drug, not because of a crash diet, because of 3 rituals that humanity practiced naturally for thousands of years, before we forgot them. You have everything you need right now: the Golden Water Protocol, the Cellular Awakening Walk, the Protein First Breakfast Code. Start tomorrow morning. All 3. In sequence. Give it 30 days. And then come back here and tell me in the comments what changed for you. I want to know. Your story matters, not just to me, but to the thousands of people watching this video who are still on the fence, still not sure if it is worth trying. Your result could be the thing that convinces someone else to save their own health. So please, one final time, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this with someone you love who needs to hear it. A parent, a spouse, a friend who keeps saying they need to do something about their health. Send them this video right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it could change their life. This channel grows when real people share real content with people who actually need it. You are part of that mission every time you share, like, subscribe, share. Thank you for spending 30 minutes with me today. I don't take that lightly. Your time is the most valuable thing you have, and I hope I gave you something genuinely worth it. I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. You deserve to feel well.